What's good, people? It's your boy, Icarus Gray. And this is Gray Area Anime. Oh man, we went a whole week without one of these, and you got a couple extra episodes, but now, I mean, well, technically, you know what? I'm not even going to use that sound this time around because it's not needed.
No,
It's
for
not
once.
needed.
For
So-
once ever. Well, for once so far.
So now we get into new territory that has been unplowed, that is fresh fallen like snow.
Oh, I see what you did there.
And yeah, we get into a new episode of the director's cut. Well, yeah, new episode of the director's cut because it is technically an OVA that is essentially connecting arc 1 to arc 2.
No. 2 to 3.
2
2 to 3. Remember, arc 2 ended with Ram. Ram.
No. Because, well, yeah, you're right, because we're in arc 3 now.
Yeah, we're about to go into arc 3.
Are we in arc 3?
Not
Well,
yet.
because the white whale, I guess, is arc 3.
Way to give
That's
it
what
away,
I'm
baby.
saying.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, they don't know what the white whale means.
But no, I will say
the white whale.
that
They're going to literally learn about the white whale very soon.
Well, I was just going to say that this is interestingly the first time that they're deviating from, like in the director's cut, deviating from what we knew already just by watching the regular anime. So this is the first entry of new information, a new experience and all that with the characters based on an interlude. Is that right?
No, this was more, well, yes, this is one of the interludes in terms of like, so interludes at the end of the light novels are like little small summaries, and they kind of just bring things together. They piece one arc to the next and give you a little bit of context. And there is a lot packed into this episode.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and get started because there's a bit to break down, and this is like all not like just rehashing stuff. This is all new information for those of you who do not read the light novel, and even for us who most light novels all start from where the anime ended. So most light novels start from the interludes of arc 3 into arc 4, then subsequently going, I think, to 5 and
Which
6.
you need for context going into the next arc. And I was going to ask you about that going into this, whether you felt, because one thing that other anime tend to do is they have those filler episodes. So initially, if you didn't know any better, you might consider this filler. But do you feel like this kind of provided more information and
like
actually moved the story forward versus other filler that you might get from other anime?
Yes, like you were the only person that called it a filler at the
initially.
time. Initially, when we were watching, I was like, no, all of this is pretty, like, there was so much sprinkled in this episode that I was like, no, like normally when it's filler, they lean more into the jokes. They lean more into a lot of different things. This isn't like the Davy Back Jones or the Davy Back game stuff in One Piece. Where that is actually canon, that happened in the manga and happens in the manga is something that's important. But like, you know, you either like it or you don't like it. Like so we'll start with the episode. So the beginning of the episode is Subaru and Amelia are about to get ready to go on their date, or he's planning to say, "Hey, we go on this date with me," and it's oddly just a little chilly, just a little bit chilly in the mansion. Everybody has kind of accepted him in that way. His relationship with Rim is like in full Subaru mode, as I call it. Like she has adopted the way he acts with Amelia. And initially for me, about him. And initially for me, I told you that it felt like a little needy, but then at the same time, given the context, this was always happening. Because without this big, huge chunk of character and world building, it felt more gradual.
And well, I was just gonna say, and to that point, I think that when we move into the next episode, it's still gonna go back to that feeling. Like as intense as Rim was in this particular episode, I don't think she's gonna be that way in the next episode. I think she's gonna go back to being what we knew her as before. But it does kind of, I feel like that was more for us. You know, like y'all know that Rim is the one. This is why she loves that man.
I think that this was more of like the things that were actually happening, because like I said, everything in this episode has huge ramifications for arcs later on. The first thing that happens, well, actually I forgot, they started off at the in the village.
Yeah, he went down to the village to scout out a place for the date.
And so that was like, they start off the episode in this epic way of like, you're wondering why everything is being spoken in English.
It's like this weird puppetry thing they got going on with the animation and recapping everything that happened.
And so you see this guy that you can't tell whether or not it's Subaru, but he looks like some sort of detective, and he's instantly,
or like Zorro.
You know, and he's instantly found out by the village kids. And this is the first real instance where you see him and Petra. It's one or the other.
I would say Petra, obviously, but
him and Petra, like,
wrong.
So we'll go with your wrongness today. Just 'cause,
Petra just doesn't sound right.
But Petra, and you get the first instance of knowing that she's an important character.
And that she has a crush on him too.
Well,
it's super cute. I'm sorry. It's just so darn cute.
My toes, my lovely toes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I didn't
it's
know.
It's okay. I know. You never know what information I'm going to give, and you just
you can just build on top of it. I just open the door for you. Walk through.
No, there's
walk
no build
on
up.
Through.
Okay, sure. I'm gonna follow your lead and allow you to lead this lovely podcast as you are lovely doing this episode because you're excited.
I'm excited. I'm sorry. I'm excited.
Okay, so they introduce the fact that she does have a crush on him. And it's interesting because anything that they bring attention to in this series has ramifications for later on or in the middle of. And it was cool to kind of see that aspect of her character because she's been spotlighted, I think more so this time through. You notice her more. You notice that she was the one who told Subaru where I almost gave her name out, where the girl was that the blue hair girl was missing. You know, she's the one who had a couple more interactions with him when he was talking about what all the kids wanted to do. She was the last one, I think, that he mentioned in terms of their aspirations. So that happens. The kids are like, "This is our secret hideout," and they take him to this flower field, which is actually important for the end of the arc in general, the arc 3, because the how it ends,
well, they do
and how we thought it ends. Well, yes, okay. Because that's lap pillow.
Yes,
the end lap pillow. That we were like, no, y'all got way more questions to answer than this. Like, this lap pillow ain't what he's searching for. So anyway. So now he's got the site laid out and he's like, all right, it's time for my date. He goes back to the mansion. It's a little bit colder in the air. And he's like, it's a little cold. I think it might like snow. We shouldn't really probably try and go out today. Maybe we'll be able to go out tomorrow. Like, is it winter? And everybody's acting kind of weird. I mean, Rim is literally acting like Subaru acts with Amelia. Like, it's, in hindsight, thinking about it now, it's funny because I never would have seen it like that. Because a lot of the times the way animes present ships is you focus solely on the one that they're trying to show you. And that's how it was that first time watching. It's like, while I still felt for Rim, it was like, I just need to see how he gets back to Amelia. So they're going around the mansion and Amelia was acting really weird. Like in this just strange way, and like even her actions are hugely inspired now by the things that we've read in the light novel. It all makes more sense. Yeah. It illustrates that childlike essence that she has and why, which I don't think I ever really got. Like, I just thought, well, you've been frozen in time for a long time, or you've been frozen for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it starts off okay. Like I said, it's a little bit cold, and they're like, well, it's not. Rim's like, it's not winter yet, so we don't pull out our winter stuff. I'm like,
and then like the next day, she's in her winter outfit because it's cold.
And like there's snow,
yeah,
fogging up the windows, and Subaru had the Subaru going to sleep trying to count pucks, and then stop, and then trying to count Amelia, and then he decided on Roswell. And the little baby Roswell.
The little cherubim Roswells. Their naked butts. That was so, like, creepy funny.
But, like, and he wakes up and, like, the entire mansion is frozen over.
And Betty's outside.
Yeah.
By the window, like, I wasn't doing anything. He's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I wasn't doing anything. I was not snooping. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, immediately sounding guilty.
Immediately. And so basically what ends up happening, because I think I'm drawing that whole it getting colder and colder, but it was funny. It's like, it was funny and very imperative at the time. You realize that Puck is the cause of the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And this is his releasing of his mana. When he's got an overstock of mana, he's got to release a little bit. This is his what is it? His mana releasing season, or
I forgot what they twice a year.
I forgot what they called it.
I know what Subaru called it.
He called it like the mating.
He called it constipation. That's what he said. He said, "Oh, so wait, is this like you being constipated?" and he was like, "I don't think I like that." I don't know if it was him or
Beatrice, because she was drinking coffee.
I don't like that.
And
I don't like
spit
that.
it out. She was like,
like I don't like that. Like description of it, but
so they they basically explain like how spiritualists and their contracts work.
Mm-hmm.
In that point and like again, all of these things are so huge.
Mm-hmm.
With us just now finishing arc 5 or 4.
4. Yeah, we just finished.
Finishing arc 4. Sorry,
I was like, no, we ain't finished 5 yet.
I don't read that fast. Well, I do read fast, but not that fast.
No, he's being kind enough to wait for me.
You're almost there. You got a page and a half,
yes.
I think. Anyway, so now that they found out, like, oh, you're causing the world change, which is an important aspect. Do not forget it.
Right.
Because
I mean, like, I think you should probably warn the spoilers at this point, just because one thing that I really appreciated about this episode is that, like, what you pointed out about it seeming to point to where they're actually gonna go when the new season comes out, like how much information we can look forward to getting, or how far into the arc 4 we can look forward to getting into.
And we can talk about that when we get to that part about where we kind of agree or disagree, like on where the ultimate end goal for this season will be.
Yeah.
But so to fast forward, so they realize that they're it's snow that he causes, and Subaru being Subaru realizes, like, there's something we got to do with this. He's always thinking about other people. He's always thinking about this village, and he thinks to himself, I think we should like do a winter festival. Something that I used to do, or that we do, because festivals are huge in Japanese culture, in a lot of different ways. So he wanted to kind of bring that to them, and so it starts off with that, and now everyone's at the mansion, and there's probably like a couple parts I'm missing, but again, we don't want to like break down every aspect because there's so much to break down, and we don't want to give you the whole episode away. Though most times we kind of do.
Do we?
I don't know. I mean, I probably do. I try to, but then we normally end up debating for like hours about one little small part of the episode.
Well, give it to him since you want to. Spoiler alert.
Okay, well, spoiler alert. Let's go. So, the initial thing that he wants to do is they're going to have an ice sculpture contest.
Yeah.
Which is always funny because I think you mentioned something that was interesting to me earlier about how was everyone so good at making these sculptures?
Yeah, I know. I was like, why is everyone an expert sculptor? Like, what's up with that? Why are they like, do they just do this with snow? Like, I don't even think they were using ice. I think they were sculpting these
literally
things
using snow
out of snow. What? What?
So, and that even, anyway. So, long story short is that everybody has, it's this fun, endearing kind of thing where everybody's, building their sculptures. He goes to the kids and shows them how to do a bunny.
No. Petra just randomly had. I think she made one.
She had a small bunny, but then he was like, "Okay, I'll show you how to make it more of a bunny." And then he put like 2 little red eyes on it and like leaves for ears. This is interesting. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Because it is the introduction of another one of the great beasts.
Yeah. And we're about to meet the first great beast in the next arc.
In the White Whale.
So it's already putting us in the mindset of where we're heading, and it's really interesting.
With nothing. It's not even putting you in the mindset because you would know nothing. You would just think that it's a cute bunny, and Subaru takes it and all of a sudden it's got robot.
It was cute until it had red eyes. Then it was like, nah, fam, y'all winking at us right now. That's how I felt. The animators were winking at us.
Well, then Subaru turns it like into a Decepticon robot.
Yes.
And
a Gundam wing rabbit.
That was one big thing that happened. That kind of foreshadowing. Roswell and Beatrice have a conversation. And at this point, I'm just going to talk about all the things that the OVA reveals versus trying to go through the episode. Because literally the entire episode is just the sculpture
It's just them having a good time. It's a really cute.
This is the safest episode you're going to watch.
Ever. ever.
In a while. Because it's about to get real rough for you. In terms of like development and moving forward. You're going to get more frustrated with Subaru. You're going to get frustrated with like where you want him to go and everything else. So
yeah.
So this is the first introduction of the fact that Beatrice does have a soft spot for Subaru. It's very slight, and it's not explained why, and I'm not gonna explain why in that sense because currently it's not needed. They haven't even introduced those things to the world. You do though get a sight of some of an upcoming villain, so to speak, or an antagonist.
You do, when he sends the snow to the capital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right at the end. So you realize the general large scope of Puck's power. Mm-hmm. You realize different people's intentions. Like I said, you realize what desires that Petra has. And there's so many different dynamics of things that they show in this episode. You see the relationship between Ram and Ram in a way of like, oh, okay.
And how they feel about their significant others, like in their choice of snow sculpture, like how they look at those guys. Like you see that.
They made a combined sculpture of Subaru and Roswell.
Which was the creepiest gosh darn thing.
It was funny. And they like Roswell and Subaru were like, we're going to vote this low. And they like have this big meltdown. But you also get a glimpse into the fact that Ram can't control her mana. They have a small little conversation, I think, earlier
about like when they were talking about the mana release and what that's
about how it affects them.
Yes,
like because he was like, well, why doesn't it affect you and all this other stuff, and the fact that it kind of leans more into the fact that Ram normally is just watching and not doing anything.
Yeah,
but it leans into it in a way of like, there's something else here. You don't know what that is yet, but like I said, we might get there, we might not get there. Matter of fact, let's spend the last bit talking about where we think they're gonna go. So here's our big debate. I think that the second season, and we can actually do this as a prediction style for earlier, and we'll see what happens.
Sure.
I think that they're going to end around the first time that when they introduce this place called Sanctuary. Spoiler alert. Well, it's been complete spoiler.
This whole episode is a spoiler.
But this is going to go into like, if you do not want to know what is going to happen in the series, please stop. So, where I think that they're going to get is I think they're going to get to the first real time that Subaru goes to the mansion route, when he realizes that things are going on at the mansion. When he is like
the first time he tries to get Beatrice to escape.
And the first time where he realizes like, oh, and she cries and pushes him out. That's where I think they're going to end somewhere around that as well.
That would be horrible and unforgivable. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't put it past them. I think.
Because we're only getting 13 episodes.
This is true. However, we are about that far in. We've already gotten through the first 2 arcs.
This is true.
And we've only got, there were 25 episodes the first time they went through this. And that was 3 arcs.
Yes.
So it's possible, because my prediction is, and it's not really a prediction, it's more of a hope. My prediction is that they will go ahead and at least finish the Sanctuary arc. And because they've already started this OVA style of doing the interlude, I think if it is an interlude, it seems like an interlude, but I think they're also going to, once the arc 3 is over with the white whale, I think they're going to actually animate the interlude between that arc and arc 4.
That's what just hit my head. And I was like,
I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. But I think they should do it.
They have to do it because it's important.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's entirely too important.
But it might end up being an episode. Here's where where I have like small evidence, I guess. All of the promotion of the season 2 is between Subaru's confrontation of him and Echidna. Like, that's been the general promotion. Is like when they have that big argument of like, yo, you playing these games. Plus, they have to introduce all of the other witches.
This is true.
He has to get into the dreamscape. The trials in and of himself, like, you know how emotional it's going to be to watch the episode?
Yeah, no, I think those trials are going to probably be one episode. Like, literally each.
No.
Like, well, at least the first trial. The first trial? The past?
Well, first of all, they have to get
That's one episode.
First of all, they have to get there. Second of all, he has to realize that he can do it. Third of all, like, and I know they can do a lot of.
I was gonna say some of this. I feel like we can really condense into a few episodes.
We're gonna introduce Frederica.
Yes, and
we're
Garfield.
Going to introduce the fact that I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they get chased. No, what? Amelia's already there. In Sanctuary by the time arc 3 ends. I'm trying to remember like the sequence of getting to Sanctuary.
So they split up.
Yeah, they split up.
Amelia's not there yet. I think what happened, if I remember correctly, and we can double check this.
Yeah.
But I think what happened, because she might have gone before, but he left with her. Like, he left at the same time that she did. They may not have been in the same carriage, but they entered Sanctuary together. I do remember that because Garfield stopped them, and Amelia was in the first time we meet Garfield. He stops their carriage. Amelia is in the carriage with them, and he fights them all. Like, and Amelia can't do anything about it. I distinctly remember that.
We'll have to go back to that, because I remember when he does that, because I don't think he actually ends up attacking them until a while. Like,
it was when they were trying to get into Sanctuary the first time.
I think it was sometime after that. The only reason I say this is because when they first got into Sanctuary, like, either, I don't remember if Amelia got sick and kind of passed out or got weak by entering the barrier or something like that. So there's all kinds of things.
But he was there with that. But the thing that I was wondering about is,
you have to get through all of that. Plus, you have to get through you have to get through Subaru's trials, which is what I think that they're going to focus on. Like, to do the rest, like, I think we could end up getting 26 episodes, but like the 13, like, they're gonna split that up into 2 seasons.
I think it would make sense, but it would be sad if they did that. I mean, only because it took us this long to get season 2. No, I'm worried about the time. It took us this long to get a season 2. If they decide to split this arc up into 2 seasons, I don't know if we're ever going to make it.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's only because of what we know. If we knew nothing, it'd just be like, oh, man, that's crazy. I have more questions. But because you know and just now finished the arc, you're like, well, I want to see that. And I want to see how they do it. So your stance is a little bit different from even seeing like the arc of how they've illustrated stuff. Because, they did go through 2 almost 3 arcs essentially, but that was with 25 episodes. So 25 episodes, you're getting about an average of 7.5 per arc.
So here's our takeaway, listeners. Watch the anime so we can keep getting seasons. Please tell your friends.
No, buy the light novel. Like, this is one of those.
Buy that too?
No. See, this is what you got to listen to. You got to listen to the podcast.
What do you mean?
This is when it's a light novel that has been turned into and turns into an anime. The key is buy the book,
and that's why they'll keep doing the anime,
because the book is selling. The book is like they like, you can love it all you want to. They're making it into anime because the light novel is the bread and butter. The light novel
that's really interesting.
Was so good that
it works that way.
They created the thing. It's the same thing with anything. They go off of the source material. Unless it's something that does not have source material, they go off the source material.
I just mean in terms of that being what generates the continuation of an anime. Yeah. And I mean, I get that. Material. That makes sense. Like, if it decreases or declines, then they may not animate anymore.
Prime example for here that'll give you a better context. Percy Jackson has 10 books. 2 movies.
Yeah.
2 movies.
Yeah.
Like, they decided after the second one, nah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's based on views. That's not based on books.
But
that's why I said it's interesting views,
but I'm saying but it was still like one of those things to where like it's hugely popular in some ways. So
as a book is what I'm saying. That's why I said it's interesting that it's the opposite there. That if the book declines, then they won't animate no matter how the views are. And that's why I was saying that it's not that way here. It's very much based on views. The book can be great. It can sell out a lot. Yeah. But if the movie doesn't get the recognition that they want or doesn't make the box office that they want, then we're not making another. I still think
they're like halfway tied in because it's like not in the biggest way, because I do think we are more like, if people come and see it, they'll come and do it. But like, I think about like the Hunger Games or something like that. But anyway, it's not entirely important. But yes, you have to buy the book. Over there, buy the book. Us watching and increasing, because again, like the general context, like people watched ReZero so much so that they created the Isekai Quartet thing. We had the short thing, and that's 4 or 5 years ago now, from season 1 to season 2. So buy the book, as much as you can. But like, it was intricate. Everything they introduced, we forgot the big one of Puck having his conversation with Amelia. And essentially starting to try and separate himself to get her to start seeing herself. It felt like a dick move, I know, in the moment.
It really did. He was like, it's your fault that he's going through all this. And it's like, whoa, Puck, what are you doing, guy? But it does seem like he's trying to help her come to terms.
Because here's the big thing in revelation of reading the light novel. Amelia has not seen herself. She does not look at mirrors. She does not look at anything.
Because of Puck.
Because she has not actualized the fact that she is a woman, a grown woman, I should say. Not that she's a woman. That would be a completely different anime. But she has not actualized the fact that she is grown up, that the things that she used to have, the things that were around, that those are more pipe dreams than reality. Sanctuary, this next arc is about seeing yourself for who you are, accepting yourself, and then accepting the fact that the future can change and that whatever decisions you make, if you're accepting of yourself, you can be accepting of your future. Because, and it's beautiful. And I think that's why I know that Primitive hopes, and I hope too, that they do the entire arc, because you don't get the fullness of that until the end. You're able to get, this has so much character development packed in it. Like, no matter what you think about the character development that you're about to see with all the characters that you see, Amelia gets character development. Ram gets character development. Roswell gets character development. Mm-hmm. Beatrice gets character development. Petra gets character development. Frederica gets character development. Garfield gets character development. Otto gets character development. Louis San gets character development. Echidna and the witches get character development.
Yes.
It's like literally every character you encounter, even Patresh. 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 Like his ground dragon gets
who's so
character
cute.
development.
She's great.
Like Elsa.
Yeah, Elsa actually gets a little bit. You learn a little bit more about her. Like, it's really crazy.
You know, and it's like this world just continues to grow. So I more so hope that you're right. It's just I generally know the way that they seem to do these things. Like, even with Is Around to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon 2, we didn't get as much, extra, they skipped, they went through like however many volumes, but it wasn't a lot. And you still kind of want more. You still kind of want to see what happens. But that is when you fall to the light novels, because they're not Game of Thrones last season. They don't be veering from the source material too much. And when they do, you get Full Metal Alchemist, and then you get Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Like, Full Metal Alchemist is not a complete diversion, but it's a diversion from the manga. And Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is like, this is the manga. This is why this is good. I think you've actually seen that one.
The Brotherhood? I haven't seen the Brotherhood. I've seen the original. Okay. Or the one that I assumed was the actual story, which is the regular
But that's another, we might have to do an episode on that. Like, on...
I love that anime.
Because we did it with why you should read manga, but it shows more that there are other caveats to that. But anyway, there was so much going on in this episode. I hope that we broke it down in ways that you are intrigued by, because there's still a lot we didn't say. Spoiler alert or not, the complexities that are written, the character development that I've championed so much, the just struggle.
Yeah.
Because this arc, we had a translation site that we were reading on that like stopped. Like, the guy was like, I'm gonna go live life. And it was like crushing for us, because he would like translate like about a chapter. You translate about a chapter or maybe half a chapter, and he did it in a way that was like beautiful, episodic and beautiful and
well written.
It brought all the characters to life, so you saw them in different ways. It was the first place where we got through his Subaru's trials. And the beautiful thing that I do hope they get to, and I will end on this, is Subaru's backstory and who he really is and what he comes from was the most inspiring thing in a way of like connecting. Because I've been there. I've been that failure, or felt like a failure in that sense of expectations, and wanted to just seal myself off from the world. It is a otaku's opium, not opium.
Requiem.
No,
Symphony.
Magna Carta. It's a otaku's Magna Carta is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Or Magnum Opus.
Opus.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Here we go.
That's what I'm actually trying to say. Not Magna Carta.
That's a wow moment.
But but it's the Magnum Opus, I think, for otakus, in that way of like, yo, I get it. But anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed it. I will allow you to do the thing this time because I stepped on your toes last time.
Be
or
certain
wait,
to
next time.
what? Okay,
you'll see how I step on her
well.
toes on the next episode.
I'll try to make sure I do it well because he told me I'm gonna miff it up. So
you
here we go.
because that's what you already did. Go ahead. It's
all right.
funny.
So you can follow. We need to get one for Gray Area Anime. But anyway, you can follow Icarus Gray on Instagram at Icarus Gray. Is the underscore Icarus _ Gray. And then on Twitter at Icarus Gray. You can follow me at Prima Diva on Twitter and then at Prima Diva Red on Instagram. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment or questions if you'd like. We'd love to engage with you.
All right. And we'll see you guys next week. A 1 and a 2 and peace.